Welcome back, everybody. You got Will and Iron here from the Block Runner, MetaZone, Rovi, and MScribe, and today we're going to be talking about Bittensor.
Good old TAO, dude.
Yeah, it's been a little while, dude.
Has it really?
Yeah, I think it has.
It has been. We talked about it a couple months ago as like Gotius Maximus was like happening.
Yeah.
And then that's how we discovered virtuals like pretty early, right? We're like, hey,
Yeah.
all of a sudden, like everyone is talking about crypto AI.
Right.
I thought that was interesting, but somehow like Bittensor was being left out of this like newfound discovery.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's probably because when everyone was talking about AI, Bittensor happened to be at $2 to $3 billion. It was like,
Yeah,
okay, that's a sailed boat.
Exactly. Yeah, when you're a degen in these markets, you're not typically looking for, because there's not as much of a high upside expectation, right?
Correct.
You can get into like a $3 billion market cap coin. What's the best it could do this cycle? Maybe like a 10x at most.
Maybe, yeah.
Like at the pico top.
Yeah.
If like the AI sector collectively is like a juggernaut, which all signs point to that becoming the case.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're into a 10x and that turns you on,
Bittensor
is probably your play.
10x
right?
is a good day.
For some. I mean, yeah, 10x is a good day. But we're talking like, is it a good year though? Like a 10x?
It could be.
It depends on your palate, I guess, or your risk tolerance and personal goals and such, right?
Yeah.
But there's an underlying like component to TAO and Bittensor that introduces, more interesting opportunity than 10x. Right?
Yeah, when we discovered Bittensor through the community, all right, they're like, we were talking about AI. I was like, there needs to be some sort of AI crypto project out there that
has to be, right?
Yeah, right. It has to be. And then everyone in the comment section was like, yeah, it's Bittensor.
Yeah.
And so we finally looked into it and we found it and we interviewed the founder, Const, Jacob Steves.
Mm-hmm.
And we ultimately said, like, this is a very big deal of a project, but it needs to have some mechanism to spin up additional tokens from the network itself.
Yeah, that's like the blunt way to say it, right? And we said something similar to that regards literally like 4 years ago when we were first discovering DeFi, right?
Yeah,
and it's like,
right.
dude, DeFi, this is a very interesting sector.
Yeah.
I see a lot of novelty here. I could see the market really gravitating towards this space, but it's like, where's the tokens? Where's the speculation going to come from, right? It's really just like, at the time, it was just like yield devices. It wasn't really like that attractive.
Which was cool that you could do that from a decentralized perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the narrative is there, all the ingredients for like, yeah, it's like a novel technology coming out of the crypto space, right?
Yeah.
And this is post ICO era where there's literally nothing but vapor out there.
Yeah.
So it's like, wow, devs are actually building protocols on chain.
Yeah.
Very fascinating. But yeah, we basically like traversed our attention away because we understand the market, right? The invisible hand.
Yeah.
It's looking for speculative opportunity. And typically these come in the forms of token vehicles, right?
Yeah, correct.
So we're like, all right, it's really not worth paying attention to DeFi until like a Cambrian explosion of tokenization forms.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of governance tokens were born.
Yeah, that's right.
right? All of a sudden, all these yield-bearing protocols had like a governance token component to them. And what do you know?
DeFi summer.
DeFi summer, $100 billion in TVL, all that stuff. Right?
Yeah.
So Bittensor, cool idea. Subnets, where are the tokens at, dude?
Well, they're coming.
Yeah. So we're about to show you guys why you need to be paying attention. Right?
Yeah. So, all right. The first tweet here says, for any builders who want to register a Bittensor subnet but have been unable due to costs or parasite investors, see the message below. So here's Cons, here's the founder. He says, if you're a subnet team that has a bad investment deal with investors or taking exorbitant portions of their emission proportions in exchange for the lockup cost, please reach out to Crypto Kong. I can provide the lock cost for your team at zero cost. So now to onboard to a subnet within Bittensor, it's at no cost to the subnet.
Yeah. So the next link here kind of outlines in their docs, like, what is the process to actually registering a subnet, right? And up until now, it was a pretty high friction process, right? I think for good reason. You don't want to just like open the floodgates right away, right? On like a whole new thing.
Right.
You want to like, add some buffers there, some quality control components and stuff. So you can really, I guess, observe and absorb the data of these subnets and understand like where's the value and all that stuff, right? But I think Kant sees the market, the signals that are coming out there. Is like, I think it's time to essentially lift the floodgates. So in here, I think it's like 100 TAO cost.
Mm-hmm.
If you want like a subnet, basically you got to get assigned like an ID, kind of
Yeah.
like a passport for a subnet.
Right. Yeah, here it is. Balance 100 TAO.
Yeah, it's essentially with the 100 TAO, you get assigned essentially a pass. Now you're part of the subnet network. Up until now, there's probably been like roughly 50 or 60 or so. It's not that many, but still, you could do a lot with 50 to 60 subnets. And the purpose of the subnet is essentially like a very refined task, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so very specific tasks like generating images, generating videos.
Yeah.
You know, being able to feed a subnet with your own contextual data so you can have a chat dialogue with that data.
Yeah, and then all these become like essentially serviceable like endpoints that developers within the ecosystem can kind of pull from to enhance their own products, right? So it's a killer concept. And by the way, all this is being incentivized by the token itself, TAO, right?
Yeah, correct. So so here is another page in the doc section, frequently asked questions.
Yeah, this is what kind of like outlines and explains
Yeah,
exactly how these subnets are earning their TAO, right?
so first off, I'm sure it's like, what is a subnet? It's basically, here it says like a competition market. So if you are a subnet that's creating a hyper-specific modal, such as creating images, well, there might be competition who says they could do images a lot better.
Right.
And so the whole idea is for the competition to like compete with each other in the form of like earning TAO tokens.
Yeah, essentially whichever one of the two is producing the better output.
Right.
The protocol like token emission mechanism will be able to differentiate those outputs and basically weigh one in favor over the other. Therefore, you get more TAO. So the game theory here is, you know, if you're producing better substance or output, you're earning more revenue in the form of TAO, because there's a lot. I think like every like 12 seconds, like one TAO gets emitted.
Yeah.
So what is that, like $400 in today's price? Like every 12 seconds, dude.
Yeah.
So collectively, I think that's somewhere around 3 to 5 million, I think, daily is like being essentially paid out to these subnets.
Yeah. And so what's cool about this is that because this is a competition, someone else might create a better algorithm, a better, you know, essentially technology to create better images, more higher fidelity, higher resolution, more accessible to users, things like that. And that would outcompete the previous entrants. And so you always get the better product from the network.
So it's beautiful, right? This is like how nature works. Survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
If you don't as a subnet produce the better output, you don't make as much TAO revenue. Therefore, you probably can't sustain your operation. You're gonna die.
Yeah. Yeah,
it works.
How life works.
Pretty much. But so there can be improvements, right?
So every 12 seconds, a new TAO is created. The single TAO is then distributed among all the subnets. So every 12 seconds, each subnet gets a fraction of the newly created TAO based on the performance of the subnet. So the tokenomics here is genius. I mean,
yeah, it's great.
It's something that a lot of projects should model because there's an alignment of incentives here.
Yeah, so this is what differentiates, I guess, like the Web3 model of like an AI organization, I guess, versus like a Web2, right? You don't have the accessibility to incentivize contribution like this, right? Which still the Web2 models are doing just fine, right? It's quite the explosion happening there as well. But
yeah, subscription models.
Yeah, but again, like all the products and services that are being outputted here, they're dependent on these like very centralized entities, right? So there might be some risks associated with that, right?
Yeah, so 18% goes to the subnet owner, 41% goes to the subnet validators, and 41% goes to the subnet miner. So we have a dividend and an incentive.
Yeah, so now that we understand basically the inner workings of the economics of it all and what it's all actually, the purpose of it is to incentivize essentially optimal AI output. It's very refined per the subnets, but collectively pretty powerful ecosystem, right? So now let's expand on this, right? The next link kind of goes into Kant's like idea of a dynamic TAO, right?
Yeah, so this one was January 9th, 2024, so about a year.
Yeah, so this is the Y, I think is always the most important.
So the dispersion and imperfection of all knowledge are two of the basic facts from which the social science have a start. So there are multiple reasons for the B1 or BIT1 proposal. However, its primary reason is that it translates the calculation of TAO's inflation distribution away from the subjective preference of the small set of root network. And so it goes deeper into dynamic TAO, which is like the latest kind of like function from the TAO network to help support the ecosystem.
Yeah, I think it takes away like essentially the decision making away from few parties to essentially anybody who owns TAO. I think you can now essentially lock up your TAO and validate like a subnet's performance, right?
So the dynamic is the amount of staked balance attained during a staking operation. The amount of TAO received during the unstaking operation dynamically changes based on the current exchange rate of the intermediate pool. So yeah, that just like outlines kind of the determination of how that dispersion occurs. So moving on here. TAObot. So Bittensor's dTAO testnet is exploding. In just 2 days, 280 subnets were registered. So this is a result of like the cost just going to zero.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a time to register a subnet, it's now, right? Whenever it's
there was
freemium.
a couple of projects who couldn't afford to register.
I think Virtuals
was one of them, right?
Which is fucking crazy if you think about it. So it's like, damn, sorry, can't afford.
And what about what's the other one? The one that you like? It starts with N. Noose.
I don't know if that's why I think they separated because they just maybe felt like they could do something more grand. I don't know if they just, but yeah, their origins were also part of a subnet within the Bittensor ecosystem. And now they're out independently creating their own like killer models, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of lore and deep richness to like the Bittensor ecosystem, which I think a lot of people just are not aware of.
Yeah,
right?
correct.
You got to really dig beneath the surface.
Yeah. All right, so what is TAObot? It's your gateway to the Bittensor network. Our platform is designed to be all-in-one hub for Bittensor, enabling users to swap seamlessly from Ethereum to a subnet token, analyze and explore subnets with powerful on-site tools.
So if we're talking about, we got a massive explosion of subnets on the testnet. At some point, they will become accessible, and they will have subnet tokens of their own.
Yeah.
Here's a platform here that is kind of like essentially going to be the interface between, the speculation that we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
If you want to swap from Ethereum into like the subnet or the Bittensor ecosystem, you're going to probably do it through here.
Yeah,
right?
through the TAObot.
Kind of similar to like virtuals, right? I'm imagining TAObot will have like a virtuals like user experience, right? Just where you could swap in and out of different subnet tokens, just like you can swap in and out of different agents on virtuals.
Yep.
Right. So this is something to keep your eyes on.
All right, so TAObot market cap of 51 million, and looks like an explosion occurred here, dude.
Yeah, I think people are starting to gravitate, right?
Yeah.
It's like, put the pieces together, guys. It's like, okay, we're going to see a lot of subnets.
Yeah.
What are the vehicles of getting exposure to whatever it is, right? Now, formulating a speculative thesis on like what subnet is greater than the other, obviously highly subjective, but that's part of the game we all play every day in these markets, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
All right, so another tweet here says the Yuma Bittensor subnet portfolio says one reason I'm super bullish in TAO is the growing VC interest. Key players like DCG have launched Bittensor focused funds. I'll break down the subnet included the Yuma portfolio with the upcoming introduction of dTAO. Understanding the Bittensor ecosystem is critical than ever.
100%.
Allocating TAO to the best subnet could lead to higher returns.
So this is essentially your notice, dude.
This is how you participate.
Yeah, so if you on your own free time, guys, you can go through this list because they're all interesting. But I think there's a couple in here. As you scroll down, they're hyper relevant in this thread. I want to find it.
So Grayscale, Barry Silbert, Foundry Services, Sturdy Finance. I think this is one that we looked at a while back.
Yeah, but there's one in here that is piquing my interest really hard. I think it's this one.
Masa, yeah.
Yeah.
This is one I flagged to you a while ago, just because it was very similar to Cookie DAO.
Yes, which is why I like it. Dude.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I seem to really like these data infra plays.
Well, data is the blood of AI, so
Exactly.
makes
Why
sense.
would I not slurp that blood? You know, if I could, I want to vampire my way.
Okay, Dracula.
That's right. I want to suck it all, dude. It's all mine. Right? If they're out here neatly aggregating it for us,
Sure.
is so if you understand like what makes AI great,
Yeah.
as opposed to just AI.
Yeah.
Right?
Correct.
Because we have examples of standout AI agents and AI XPT.
Yeah.
And like we talked about in the cookie deep dive, it's all in the data. It's all in the scraping of the data and the I guess the model tuning.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Basically, what do you want? What do you want AI XPT to do? It's like, give me some good calls.
Yeah. So it's like,
And
okay.
so follow the right KOLs.
Yeah.
And you might get good calls.
Right. Yeah. So if my agent is plugged into like literally everything happening on crypto Twitter, it's going to really know its stuff, right? As opposed to an agent that's not plugged into anything of substance. It's like, it's just going to mindlessly chatter and really have no alpha, right?
Right.
So this is essentially the cookie of the Bittensor ecosystem. So let's take a look.
So all these, just keep in mind, these are all subnets that you can stake your TAO into.
Yeah. So they're all worth deep diving into.
Yeah, so Masa is the one that we're kind of highlighting here. So Masa is a decentralized AI network where people can earn by contributing data. So they've commoditized the contribution of data in return for a token. AI developers can build anything anywhere with the world's data.
Music to my ears, dude.
Look at this. Earn by contributing data and compute.
Yeah, dude. Data contribute to earn.
Yeah.
Instead of play to earn.
Right.
Yeah, I mean that's great. I think that's a good model to kind of expand here.
Yeah, so build anything anywhere with the world's data. So all the links will be in the description for you guys to kind of read through. So what is a market cap of?
Also 50 million, dude.
50 million. So one thing to notice here, fully diluted is 221 million. So that means that the circulating supply is about a third.
Yeah. So
or a fourth.
Yeah. So what does that typically imply? I mean, a lot more circulating supply to come. So
yeah,
potential like
so that
unlocks
means,
and dumps.
Yeah, that means that depending on like who's contributing, how much they're contributing, they're earning the token. So this is part of like how this network works. So
yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's not like I mean if it was all future allocation was like directed to like VCs or something, then I'd something to be alarmed about, right? But
yeah.
If it's being rewarded to ecosystem contributors, this is how it's supposed to go, right? This is how Bitcoin was distributed to its validator network, right? And
that's right.
Bitcoin only goes up.
That's
right?
true.
But they do have also like some pretty sound economics
fundamentals, yeah.
Which, by the way, Bittensor also shares.
That's true. Bittensor has a halving.
Yeah, coming up
in December 2025.
I think that's what the next tweet is about. Maybe, I don't know. It is.
So Talbot, yeah. So last month we shared the next Bittensor halving was set for November 29th. But did you know that this is how now shifted to December 25th and is being delayed even further? Here's why. So it's being delayed. The first halving of Bittensor happens at 10,500,000 TAO. At this point, block rewards drop to half a TAO per block. However, the recycling mechanism impacts the emission timeline. So recycled TAO is placed into the issuance pool. Okay, this makes sense. This pool is emitted before fresh TAO, delaying the network's progression toward having the threshold.
Interesting.
So yeah, this is
so
very.
It's not like an arbitrary 4-year time.
Yeah.
Scheduling like the way Bitcoin is.
Yeah.
It's dependent on like an actual emission threshold, which is dynamic.
Correct.
Which is cool. So that way you can't like really pin like a date on this.
Yeah.
You know,
it's all about the output of the network.
Yeah.
So once the TAO gets outputted and get recirculated back into the supply, then you are effectively delaying the halving until like there's less of a supply to be distributed, and then it halves, and then all of a sudden you got value go up.
Yeah, but as we all know, the best time to be a miner in any of these types of networks is like
today.
The first epoch.
Correct.
So you only got a year left, guys. So if you want to contribute in that respect, you got a year to do that.
All right. So what's the market cap of Bittensor? Almost 4 billion.
Yeah. So remember, virtuals flipped it for like a brief moment in time.
Yeah, you sent me a message about that.
Yeah, I was like, I can't fucking believe it. I can't believe something flipped Bittensor, dude. It's pretty wild. But that
quickly subsided.
Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna happen again. To be honest, I think virtuals did a killer job at exposing the retail, or I don't know if it's retail, but at least the degen crypto markets to the value of AI. Right?
Yes,
because they wrapped AI in a very good front-end interface experience with all the right ingredients for speculation.
Yeah.
Basically, they brought the right product market fit of AI to the market and introduced this whole damn craze we're all talking about, right? Obsessed with, right? Where's the next thing in AI going to kind of emerge from?
Yeah.
So
the next thing could be Bittensor.
Could be Bittensor.
There's another one, right? Sonic.
Yeah. Yeah, I got Andre Crunny over there with his like DeFi cabal.
Right.
Cooking out a new paradigm of decentralized finance rooted to AI. It's like maybe it's over there.
Right? Yeah, you can't fade Andre.
Yeah, maybe it's in the metaverse, right? Maybe it's there. Maybe it's here. I don't fucking know. That's kind of the point of looking into this stuff regularly, right? Because someone's gonna really crush it and knock it out of the park. But I think the fact that AI 16Z and virtuals is kind of like cooling down a bit.
Right.
It's like the mindshare dispersion is like happening now. I think the market can now reevaluate what Bittensor is, and you know what? Maybe there is some super value here, right?
Yeah. So what's the grand takeaway is that we have a bunch of subnets that are connecting to the network and producing their own tokens.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is something to pay attention to and look into because it's not going to get easier. It's going to get more complex. There's going to be a ton more of these things integrating and a ton more opportunities.
Yeah, you don't want to know that feeling of regret like we had like last cycle of fading DeFi because it didn't have like enough speculation around it.
Yeah.
And like by the time you realize like that speculative component has occurred, you're too late.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Fuck. It's like we should have just stayed looking at it, dude.
Yeah.
But also we found the metaverse as a result. So
correct.
It's always a happy ending anyways, dude.
All right, guys, that's it for us. If we missed anything in the context of Bittensor, let us know in the comment section below. If you found something else that is worthy of discussing, also let us know in the comment section below. Appreciate you guys for watching, and we will catch you in the next video.
Peace.